How are you lovely people doing today? My name is John. Welcome to another beautiful episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A. This is the only series on YouTube where I take your questions about the zombie storyline and answer them. Whether you have a big or small or simple question, lay it on me. I'm more than happy to hear it, and you may be in the next episode. If you want, you can submit your questions two ways. You can either tweet me at JohnnyJ25, or you can leave them down in the comments below. Like I said, either way, you may be in the next episode. Without further ado, let's begin. So today we have a question from Legit Amps who asks, what is Takeo's backstory? This was a question that I kind of ignored for a little while, but I've been seeing it a lot lately. At first it kind of seemed too simple, but I'm getting a lot of questions. Some are as simple as, why is Takeo always talking about honor? And others are like, what is Takeo's backstory? So I thought, because there has been such a large influx of Takeo questions, I would tackle the backstory of Takeo. A lot of this comes from his World at War character bio, but I'll be filling in the gaps with some other information. His bio reads like this: Enter Takeo, for whom life has no meaning if not to perfect your discipline and to reveal your true character and honor. Perhaps he ponders this and other philosophical questions as his katana slices through their flesh and sinew of his enemy. Our hero was born into wealth. His family dynasty dates back several centuries, and throughout that time, they have been highly decorated samurai and bushido. Well, Takeo is no exception to this in his celebrated bloodline. Even when the family first saw the young, life-filled 5-year-old Takeo playing in the streets with his katana and slicing the tails of terrified kittens, it was obvious he was destined to bring honor to the Masaki name. Reserved and reflective, the war is a perfect opportunity for Takeo to explore his bloodlust and study the nature of those less honorable than himself. So, if you fall victim to his swift actions and might even know that you have helped a man better than yourself reach enlightenment. So that was Takeo's World at War character bio. As we continued to play as Takeo, we continued to learn more about him. We know he was probably born sometime before the 1890s. This is because he was present in the Battle of McMahon, which was in 1905. He was probably a young man during this battle. In fact, Takeo had fought so impressively during the Battle of McMahon, most likely as a captain actually, that it caught the attention of the Emperor, and several years later, in the year 1918, he was actually invited up to speak with the Emperor about a great matter that was facing the nation of Japan. Now, this would actually be him being sent into Origins on a mission to sort of infiltrate Group 935 and figure out what the Germans were up to and the weaponry that they were building. That's the story of Takeo, though. He is very involved and very rooted in Japanese traditions and this belief of an honor system and presenting your true character. This is how he operates. This is why he's always talking about the Emperor and he's always talking about honor. He believes and he buys into this system greatly. Even as Japan faced a mass cultural change, he still tried to hang on to the old traditions. That is why Takeo is the way he is. We have to remember that Takeo sort of represents a stereotype of Japan. That's what all our characters are. They are a very broad and very exaggerated stereotype. So that's this backstory of Takeo. Moving on, we have a question from Gerardo Avellino who asks, who are the people inside the capsules on the theater in Kino der Toten? So we don't exactly know who the people in these capsules are. However, they are the Nova Crawlers. We can see some busted open capsules lying around the map, and what happened was the Nova Crawlers must have come alive or must have awoken. They then broke their way out, and that's why they are present on the map Kino. Now, where they came from and who they are is a little bit difficult to say. They were some sort of experiment using Nova 6. Whether or not these were human test subjects or quite possibly Vrilya, it's hard to say for sure. It could have just been random subjects that they found lying around, or it could have been Vrilya. That's one of the theories that's floating around. However, there isn't too much evidence to support that. One reason people might think it's the Vrilya is because they're a little bit more deformed than your normal human. I mean, they don't look quite right. These aren't regular zombies. This isn't a zombie. Like, this person is walking on all fours. They have razor sharp teeth. This is a seriously mutated person, which leads people to think it is something other than man. Either way, though, at the end of the day, what we can definitively say is that the people inside these capsules are some sort of experiment with Nova 6, possibly in the idea that like these would enter into a scene, explode, and then kill many of the enemies around them. So we're gonna end today's episode with a question from Trevor Thornsberry, who asks, how come 5 and Ascension phones are linked to each other? So on the map Ascension, you can hear a number of red phones that will play audio quotes from the map 5. Now, why these phones are here and how they are linked to the Pentagon is kind of hard to explain. We don't really have much of an explanation. It wouldn't make sense for the Americans to be tapping into a Russian research area. I mean, we're talking Cold War politics. The USSR and the USA did not communicate very easily during this time. There wouldn't just be a direct line to a secret Russian research facility unless there were some sort of American spies or it was secretly American. It's hard to say for sure, but we have no reason to believe that the Ascension group would not be a Russian group. It's kind of hard to say why exactly those phones were there. Now, what we can learn from these phones is that Ascension and 5 are taking place at the same exact time. What this does is this brings 5 into the world of zombies. 5, for the most part, was kind of isolated. We didn't know how it connected to much of the story, but now that we see the Thunder Gun on the map as 5, and we see the Thunder Gun in Ascension, and we hear the phones on the map Ascension linking to the map 5, we can see that clearly these maps are in some way connected. They exist at the same exact period in time, and for some reason, there is a direct line of communication from the Pentagon to the Ascension group. That is the question, though, I wish I could answer. That's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like, possibly subscribe. I'll upload multiple episodes every week, and if you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll love the next one. Have a great day, and bye.